Mission. Let's go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job, everybody. Okay, exonerations. Mr. Assessor.
Okay, I don't know, this, I'm gonna explain this before I get to you. Our books closed February 26th or something. These are issues that we have found since the books closed. That's why you're seeing more. And any credits that we have owed people in prior years, we have one of those on here that's paid in, I have it marked paid in full. So we have no more of those to go around. So it's real estate.
Okay, I'll make a motion to do the real estate exonerations.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You want to stand out? This is July, so you'll see. The
Yeah.
next few meetings, you'll see a few of those.
We'll see some goofy ones every now and then.
Okay, these are two consolidation or
Combines.
divisions of property.
Okay, same thing. It's the same property owner. I move that we approve the request to combine these two sets of real estate.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Dennis, sign.
Yeah, you have.
Or does Michelle have to?
You have to look those through.
Yeah, this is Michelle.
Because it has to be filed.
We don't sign it, right? That looks,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
down to bottom. Both the long sheets.
Almost everything I bring you has to be signed.
Well, the way it's written here, it looks more like a notary signature to me, a lawyer, than it does a commission signature. That's what confused me. All right. That enter, she entered this, what day, and what. All right. Veltex.
Hi, good morning. This is Tommy Bailey. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Well, good morning, commissioners, and thank you so much for the opportunity to appear this morning. Regardless of how this goes for Veltex, I want to say that personally, I have a great fondness for the region. Nearly 20 years ago, I deployed from there as a National Guard member. And as a lifelong West Virginian, I consider that area part of my home. So thanks for the opportunity to appear. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the Veltex Corporation, and we purchased a building in Mount Hope right in the middle of the pandemic. What a great time to conduct real estate transactions. We came across this building through the EDA. The Veltex Corporation, for quick background, is a small publicly owned company. It's based in Chicago. My office is in Charleston, and I operate, I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the corporation, but I focus primarily on their West Virginia endeavors in substance use disorder work. Small corporations certainly lean forward to invest in this building, to improve the building. We purchased, I think the transaction was final in July or August of 2020. To date, we've put close to $250,000 into the building in improvements. If you're familiar at all with this location, but very quick background on the building, it was renovated close to 10 years ago for use in the substance use disorder realm. And that organization, no affiliation to ours, but that organization was closed by the Justice Department and the FBI for embezzling state funds. So we came across this building. It sat vacant for a number of years, and we certainly have bent every dollar in order to get the building ready. The Veltex Corporation wants to open a substance use disorder facility there. We currently have some operations. They were launched last August for outpatient operations, and we're asking this morning for consideration of forgiveness for property taxes owed. Our justification for that is very simple. We offer, well, first we're putting every dollar that we can find into getting that building ready to open. if I know that everyone is familiar with the substance use disorder problem, so I won't belabor you with any issues related to that, but it's certainly, I think you can point to any area of the state, but Mount Hope being one of them, and saying that that disorder has ravaged our community. As we continue operations there on an outpatient basis, we're trying to open an inpatient unit. It's desperately needed. We have partnerships all through the region. Our medical director is a Beckley-based doctor, Dr. Olu Sangade. And getting that facility open is not only enormously expensive, but with the in place state regulations governing those things, it's a tough thing. This is not a money-making venture for Veltex. I think public corporations sometimes get a little bit of a bad rap or a bad reputation for just being in it for the money. But nobody gets into this work just for the money or for the money at all. The margins and all of it are very slim. And again, we're bending every dollar. The other reason we would ask and make this request, it's unusual for us to do so. We're all tax-paying citizens and tax-paying corporations, but we've also offered, and the county and the city have taken us up. We offer free use of the building. Anytime the county or the city has a first responder training need, we have a large parking lot. We make the facility available anytime that Mayor Mike Kessinger wants to use it. And we also have a close relationship with the Fayette County Health Department. So Dr. Anita Stewart, we're offering that location for the health department for free to have a campus and an office in that part of the county where they don't have such a heavy footprint. So for those reasons, we humbly ask for some consideration of those property taxes owed. It would certainly help us get the facility open faster, even though it's not a huge amount of money for us. They always say that, you know, $30,000 isn't a lot of money unless you don't have it. And for us, we're putting every dollar we have into getting that facility ready for operations. I'm happy for any questions or thoughts that you might have.
Well, as someone who represents those with drug addiction or their children, I appreciate the importance of what you're doing and the need for those types of facilities. There is none like it so far in Fayette County, and I do remember the ill-fated organization that preceded you. Unfortunately, however, our prosecuting attorney has can you put him where I can see him? Unfortunately, our prosecuting attorney has and our auditor has told us that we are prohibited by state code to give a tax break to a for-profit organization, regardless of the margins or its community contributions, such as the ones you described. So unless you can point to something or your attorneys can point to something, I don't think we are even able to do this, even if we were inclined to. Now, on the inclined to aspect, you know, I have some concerns, and our prosecuting attorney had some concerns about setting, and the assessor too, precedents for giving tax breaks to for-profit organizations as well. So all those things considered, I do not think we can, and nor would we be inclined to grant something like this. Can you point to anything that negates what I've just said?
I can't, not legally, and I'm not a lawyer. I can certainly speak to our counsel and see about sending over something like that. You know, on the inclination part of that, I certainly understand not wanting to set a precedent. I would only ask that in any future consideration of this, that these are the reasons that companies that deal in substance use disorder, and it's the reason why they don't currently operate in the area. So
well,
I
that's
certainly
not the reason they don't operate in Fayette County. I mean, there just hasn't been, you know, the demand and the location. I mean, Beckley has it. I know the health department is looking at an MAT program. You probably know that. I don't think this is a deterrent. The state code is the state code. It's not
Right.
county code. So what I referenced is not a Fayette County problem, it's a state statute. So, but if your lawyer has something to point to, and if you guys can quantify in some way the community contributions you're making with the health department and the city of Mount Hope, I mean, I would certainly be willing to reconsider the issue. I mean, I think we all would if we had, something to stand on. But right now, based on advice of counsel and our county assessor who knows the code back and forth, we're just unable to take action on or to grant this.
I understand. Can you provide, it would certainly just help on our side, and it's okay if you don't have it in front of you, but can you provide the state code to which you're referring so that we?
Yeah, we can. And if you touch base with our front office this afternoon, we should have it, but the prosecuting attorney had to go to a hearing this morning. He was going to bring it, but he called me about it this morning. So.
Okay.
I have one question.
Yes.
And I agree with Ms. Taylor 100%, but I do have one question. How much does the taxes that you're talking about waiving? You mentioned $30,000. I don't know whether you was just using a round figure or the exact taxes.
It's about 35,000.
35,000. Now, what does Mount Hope say about their part of that taxes?
In my conversations with the mayor, they support our efforts. I certainly don't think they want to make that a long-standing thing, but they understand the struggles of getting an organization like this off the ground, and we're supportive of our efforts like this for this year.
Yeah, of course. Please.
I'm Eddie Young. I'm the county assessor, and I've looked at the code, not thoroughly, but if you look at 1139, property exempt from taxation, that's a long couple pages of things, but I did highlight this one part of it. It says, all property belonging to benevolent associations not conducted for private profit. That means that they would not be exempt. Okay. The other thing, I have spoken with this organization, and I would recommend not doing it. And my reason is 1131. Any assessor who knowingly fails, neglects, or refuses to assess all property of his county as herein provided shall be guilty of malfeasance in office, and upon conviction thereof shall be fined not less than $100 nor more than $300, or imprisoned in the county jail not less than 3 no more than 6 months, or both, in the discretion of the court, and upon conviction shall be removed from office.
Protecting yourself, Eddie.
Well, we don't want to see you go to jail.
I agree with you, Eddie.
However, well, I mean, I don't want to go to jail.
Well, you wouldn't if we were to vote to overrule it, but at the same time, it does kind of illustrate the importance to the legislature of assessing taxes where he's instructed to do so.
And one more thing, if I would recommend contacting the legal division of the property tax department for the state of West Virginia and ask for a taxability ruling. And then they will tell you, you have to provide this, 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 and this. If they determine that you are non-taxable, then you're non-taxable.
Okay.
They determine you're taxable.
I'm sorry. Would you repeat I got the legal division but I'm not familiar with the what you asked for in the what you just
would be
said.
asking for a taxability ruling.
Okay.
And they usually provide those. Like if you applied now, you would probably get an answer by the 1st of March.
Okay. That's lightning speed in state government. I understand that.
It is.
And it's after our books have closed and we put you in as taxable, and they send a non-taxable thing in, and we have to recertify. So,
Okay, so, and that, you said that's the property tax division at the tax department?
yes, the property tax division.
Did you get that?
I
All
did,
right.
thank you.
So, so based on the aforementioned discussion. Does anybody else have anything to say, John? Anybody? I move that we deny the request for a tax exemption for Veltex, at least at this time.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And we wish you luck with your endeavor out there.
Yeah, thank you again so much for the opportunity to appear. You don't do this and not learn to hear no a whole lot. We know it's tough. We appreciate what you do for the county, and I hope to see all of you again soon.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Agenda here. We're still good. All right. First half payroll.
Make a motion to approve 7:15.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Vouchers and invoices. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I went through them. There was several things that I marked, and between Ruth and Michelle, we were able to get through them. But I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve unless Tom had another
No,
question.
I'm good.
Okay, I
Second.
didn't have any questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Oh, shoot, I forgot about the meeting minutes. All right. Go start on there. There are new meeting minutes, and it's my fault. I totally spaced it. State settlements. Anybody else want to take a look?
No.
To me, when we do these estate settlements, that's one of the saddest times that we have to do these. So, and unfortunately, it's just not 2 or 3, it's multiple pages, it seems like every time.
Okay, I move we approve these estate settlements.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Michelle.
Okay, Ruth.
All right, so I'm gonna skip around the exhibit list a little bit because two of them pertain to Gary and he's gotta go back to that LEDC meeting. And the first one is vehicle needs at 911 center. That is on there because the car that Philip uses, the tower guy, the frame is done. It can't be fixed.
I saw pictures of it. It's rusted out.
I haven't got a second opinion.
I kind of feel like my Forerunner probably looks like that.
Probably. Well, if it's a clear.
It's 22 years old.
Yeah. So, I didn't know what y'all's thoughts were. I feel like we probably need to do something in terms of another vehicle.
Have we got a price on?
No, I didn't even look because I think you'll have to go through state bid unless it's under a
Yeah.
certain amount, so.
Can we get a state bid first to see?
Have to do state bid.
And you can look like on the state auction.
And for my part, I'd like to see a vehicle inventory for out there and who they're assigned to. I said, could you get us a vehicle inventory and who they're assigned to? Like, let us know, like the mileage, what the car is, you know, because we have that for sheriff's department. And I feel like we should have that for,
They probably have it at the park if you call them.
yeah, they probably do. But just so we can maybe start budgeting for the next.
I believe
vehicle
right
that-
now, only ones I know is mine, Kevin's, Joe's, and the Kia, which now Philip is using.
But what's for mapping?
But that's not a really, yeah, that should be for Dinah, but it's not great for going up to where these tower sites are. So
I think it would help too for us to have the, you know, mission justification, like why these individuals need to have a vehicle rather than a motor pool or something. That would help. I mean, I know the answer to most of that, but it would be nice to have it documented for the public's
absolutely.
information. Okay, so that was just a heads up, right? So we'll get a bid and get it back on the agenda.
Yeah, so go ahead and look for bids for vehicles. Yeah. And then the next thing, there's the 2 pumper replacement agreements from last time that Gunnery and Nuttall.
We just have to sign them. Or what's-
Sure, yep, approve them and sign them. All that's postponed.
Why did we just postpone it because we didn't know if we were,
I have no
idea
idea.
the way? Okay.
As far as I know, those pumpers have already been ordered, so there would be no way to stop it. Even if we want.
Oh, well, then I mean, we approved them. One second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's from Montgomery and that all.
All right, the next easy one would be the coal severance budget revision. It's just our end of year actual fund balance. It came in better than expected, so it is in the line for dilapidated housing at this point.
There's just one place to sign it. No, there were two. Oh, there's that one.
What did we move down to? Number 9?
One,
Oh, 1, okay.
Go down to number 1.
yeah.
I thought we were skipping the other ones, okay.
Yeah, we were kind of.
Got it.
Okay, so is that what you handed us? Yeah.
That's what I handed you, yeah, I think one I have yours.
And that's not fun. Okay, well, so are you just giving us a heads up or we have to prove it?
Yeah, to approve it. The order's on the back, you have to sign.
Well, my name's misspelled.
I did that. Did I put 2 S's?
Mhm.
I know it.
Sorry. Say it that way. It's not misspelled at my signature line. So I'm not-
Well, John's I put a T on the end, so.
Intimate.
Not in this one, but I usually do.
All right, well, I move we approve the resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Keep moving on.
Yeah, the next one is just the annexation order for Smithers. Y'all approved it in June, and this is just the order you have to sign, so they know to publish it, and I think the 10th of August.
I'll make a motion to approve the order for Smithers.
Second. All those in favor?
Okay, we have the website services contract, which I feel like we'll require some discussion, but Andy is here for that.
That is going to require discussion. I read it.
Okay, this is a quick one too, the sales order for software systems, we've already cut the check.
Mhm.
It's basically the postage they pay for, they get the tax statements, take care of the postage and everything. I don't think y'all normally sign it, but like you should, so you're aware.
Given the amount, we probably should, it's 28,229.01. It was in our packets. Just so we can- Okay, I move we approve the sales order software systems for our tax statements.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then this last one is simple. It's just a signature. Two signatures.
For the FOIA?
Yep, it's just the FOIA database. But right now it's Amy and I. That, because all your FOIAs have to be submitted to the state for the database, basically.
Okay, so this is for the state FOIA database and what access does that give us? Not that I just want to know.
We just submit them online, basically.
So we can submit them online. Can we read other FOIAs for other agencies
Yeah,
as
there's a
public
database
database?
on there, just so you know.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, I know, because, you have the FOIA fiends that like to go around the FOIA, everybody, everything. All right, so I move that we approve the access for Ruth and Amy to the state FOIA database to enable us to file those electronically and review other FOIA requests.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So two of us have to sign this?
No, the first one's printed, the second one's, second line, sign on the second line. Becky. Oh, there she is. Look, I look back there and was thinking you were Leslie. I just saw the back of your head.
We have a couple more minutes.
The rest of it, like we have website and domain, or will be discussions, the request for proposal for gig ready, I think will be a discussion in the brownfield consultant. That's all I have,
Why do
so
you think it'll be discussion? Get ready.
it's a proposal. I feel like you already got your questions answered.
Yeah. I did, I mean-
I did have one question about it though. Didn't Region 4 already do an RFP for an ISP for us?
No, I don't think they
Well, John Tucker said he
did. They done, did he?
Yeah, for
Leslie's
Rockland,
on
for
here.
an ISP. Leslie's on here.
I thought it was for the, mapping.
I don't know, but you also wanted to vote to release that mapping
Yeah.
information.
This one's for the engineer. I'm from Austin, but this proposal's for the engineer. I mean, Leslie.
Well, there was one, we had two requests for proposal in our packet. One of them was the engineer, the other one was for an ISP. And I'm pretty sure we already did an RFP for an ISP. Well, we did, I mean,
We did, but I mean, there's,
Was it-
we can
we need
redo
to-
it. We can, yeah,
we should go ahead and redo it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think it was
because we
something
didn't
simple.
respond. From what I understand,
Okay,
there wasn't enough.
yeah,
Oh, and Leslie and Amanda are both on.
Yeah, I think it's what it was.
okay, well, I mean, listen, I'm fine with republishing, I just wanted
Yeah.
to make sure that we were,
Yeah.
you know, because I thought we'd already done that. All right, so, I move that we approve the, engineering RFP and, well, let's do that, engineering RFP first.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move we approve the ISP RFP, that's request for proposal internet service provider.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then I move that we release which information?
Is it mapping information, Leslie?
Is
Well,
it proprietary,
Amanda would probably do
Or
that.
Amanda?
Amanda?
The mapping information would be the last mile mapping that Thompson and Lytton provided for Fayette County. That's what Tilson was requesting. If you would be willing to provide that to them, they would look at it and try to see if there are any projects that they could help put together as well at the state level.
So who owns the information and why do we have to vote to release it?
The county does, right?
Correct. It's your information. So Thompson and Lytton provided it to you and they asked if you would send it to them. So before we gave it to them, we wanted to make sure we had your approval to do so. We didn't want to just send it to them.
Okay, but I mean, here's my take on stuff like this. That's public information. If the county owns it, it's public and it's not proprietary. And I don't remember us signing any non-disclosures on anything like this because we wouldn't
Nope.
normally do anything like that, would we?
No, we haven't.
Well, I mean, that is, you know, we can go ahead and vote on it, but in the future, I mean, if it's public information, it's public information. I don't feel like we would need to vote to release anything. If public money paid for it, then it belongs to the public.
Correct. Yeah, we agree as well. We just wanted to make sure that you were okay with it before we send it through.
Okay, well, does anybody have any objections to it? I don't think we need to vote on that. I'm going to go ahead and just strike that as moot. Okay. So we voted on the two things we need to on that matter, right?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. All right, we're at 9:30. You need to break before we can take a couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so let's take about a 5-minute break. And sorry, Becky, little tiny delay. I want to ask you a question anyway. reconvening. Becky, you have an update for us. I see.
Good morning. Yes, thank you for allowing me to present today. I've got a couple of hats I'm wearing today, so we'll start with the CVB. CVB annual report. You should have already received all of the reports. You should have received a financial review from 2020 and our annual report from 2021. And I'll just quickly go through the items. The annual report looks like this, and then the financial statement was the finding. For the annual report, we report on the last year for all activities for the CVB. Of course, you all know we're located on Euler Avenue in Oak Hill. We act with DBA as the New River Gorge Visitor Center, the CVB, the Chamber of Commerce, and organizing Bridge Day. We are an accredited CVB, and we have been since the inception of that program. We are funded on the hotel occupancy tax from the city of Oak Hill, town of Anstead, city of Montgomery, and Fayette County. The total tax collected in 2021 was $414,318.07. That's the 50%. And then about 60,000 was spent in our partnership funding. So compared to a normal year, in 2019, we collected $356,000 in hotel occupancy tax. So 2021 was definitely an increase. And we are seeing that across the board due to the national park designation. In 2021, we spent 73% of our total expenses on marketing our area. So this does include all of our promotional efforts, our brochures, postage, and special event marketing. The New River Gorge Visitor Center saw 5,300 visitors from 35 states and 4 countries in 2021. Our top states for visits were West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Virginia, and Florida. There has been a 30% increase in visitation to our area. We do our digital advertising, print advertising. We have multiple campaigns that run throughout the year. Our spring campaign last year received over 3 million impressions. Summer received over 4 million impressions, and fall received over 5.5 million. So we just kept getting better and better all year long.
Let me stop you and ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
One, I understand from some of the rafting companies that they're seeing a decrease this year. Do you have any information about why that is?
I don't, and I think that it could be based on the fact they're comparing to 2021. 2021, you looked in the news, all you saw was New River Gorge. So I think we got a lot of attention in 2021. So I think if they're comparing this year to 2021, that could be the difference. But for me, I like to look at 19 and 18, which were our normal years. So I think the New River Gorge National Park designation gave us a huge bump in attention and awareness. And in 2021, we saw that.
Well, what does it compare to the year before?
Or I don't know for rafting numbers. For us,
the year before the increase.
So for us in 19,
I'm talking about the rafting.
oh, I don't know. I don't know rafting numbers. I know their numbers increased in 2021, and in 2020, I think they were kind of like plateaued, even though we had COVID going on pretty heavily in 2020, and that was due to outdoor activity.
Will you, as you gather that data this year, like my theories are, the gas increase in gas prices. I mean, look at these. Yeah,
well, it's everything.
Absolutely.
If you take everything household, I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
You take a normal household that spends 2 people, let's say total 4 people, mom and dad at work, that spend $50 a week. Now they're spending gas, they're spending $100 a week. It's $50 a week gone. And then they spend $200 in groceries. Now it's $300 or $400. It takes away about $200 to $400 a week in a household. That they do not have the funds for vacation or going to eat out certain places or doing other things. I mean, I've seen it coming.
I have talked to a couple of lodging properties, and they are down compared to 2021, and it's got to be related to exactly what you're saying.
I thought this was going to happen in the end if it kept going up, because everybody, if you just look at the figures, what
Yep.
people are used to paying in the last 5 years compared to
Mhm.
what they're paying now. Everybody lives on a certain income. They usually base their life on a certain income.
Right.
And then when that doubles in cost,
You have
their
to take it away.
their income didn't double. So
Right.
they have to do something. They're doing less
Yeah.
of the stuff they
Yeah.
don't, that's not necessary.
Right.
Well, and air travel has opened up too, which is another thing I thought might be a consideration, because before people weren't willing to fly or weren't able to fly without more inconvenience or the masking and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But looking at where the top states, those are all local states, so the gas prices could be definitely factoring into that. But I'd just be curious to
Yeah.
know if, you know.
And what we're looking at
analysis.
was 2021. So, 2022 is going to look a lot different to 2021 and 20 and 19, just because of what's happening this year.
Right, right. I'll just be curious to see if anybody's, if we have any data that would support,
Okay.
what it is as we plan for the future, how we're
Mhm.
going to market. And the other thing I wanted to ask you to tell my colleagues about while I'm thinking about it is, I know you guys had, with regard to the digital advertising, you guys had a meeting with the digital ad firm, didn't you, or your board did? Dave Perry was telling me about it because I had
Yes.
had an impressive one when somebody was campaigning for office, and I had a presentation by a company that was really remarkable how they could totally target your phone, even if you're driving by somewhere. It terrified me as an intelligence
Yeah.
officer. I was like, oh my God, they could do that. But are you guys looking to move? Because I know Commissioner Luis's issues have been, that brick and mortar CVBs probably aren't going to be the way of the future over time.
Mhm.
And I just wanted you to let us know where you are on the digital, kind of.
Yeah, so we
transitioning
had
over
Pat
to
Strader
digital.
from Digital Relativity come to a CVB board meeting. And the reason for that was we were looking at our Google Analytics before that CVB meeting, and the numbers were down. And it's the same thing, is like we were looking at 2021 versus 2022, and it's based on all of that attention we were getting. So we weren't getting as many website clicks or activity based on 2021 versus 2022. So we did have him come and explain. And yes, we do a lot of mobile digital advertising, but we also act as a New River Gorge Visitor Center. So we do see a lot of traffic. Excuse me. For the Chamber of Commerce, the CVB, the Visitor Center, and then all the Bridge Day activity that happens from August to October. So yeah, but we are heavily digital and mobile advertising. And like you said, we use some of the stuff where if you're looking at your phone and you are talking about the New River Gorge, you're going to start to see New River Gorge ads on your phone. So yeah, that stuff is happening.
I was just curious, you said you had a lot of people stop in at the visitor center.
Mhm.
Do you have a calculate,
We do.
your take on a lot, maybe my
Right,
different
right.
take on a lot.
No,
But I'm
we
just
do.
curious, do they sign in or do you have any record?
Yes. So we
Okay.
have a sign-in sheet at the front desk, and we have a wonderful staff of volunteers that will make you put your zip code on that sign-in sheet. And then we have a tracking form where we track how many people come in and how many people call and what they're asking about. So we have like a wrapping category.
What's the average a day?
Average a day, well, since the bear scavenger hunt has started, the average a day is between visitors is about between 15 and 20 a day now. Yeah. And that's increased a lot. But that's got to be due to bear activity and
So it
then
was
all
less
of the
than that
events.
before-
It was less than that before, yeah. But we're seeing a lot of activity due to events that are happening now. This year, all of the events are coming back. So we are a hub for people who to pick up their Oak Leaf applications if they want to be a vendor. The Rail Trail Expo, the Bears and Brews, Bridge Day. So we are also a hub for that. And people can drop off their vendor applications and payments and all that stuff.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions about the CVB? I do have some examples. I don't know if you all have seen these. This was heavy. We did the USA Today National Parks episode or article. It was a special edition that we did. And then this is an example of a partnership advertising opportunity. Our magazine was dedicated only to New River, Greenbrier Valley.
I have a copy of that.
You do. I might have put that one in your bag. Did I put this one in your bag?
Probably. Yeah.
And then the bear hunt.
I've been wearing my white New River Gorge glasses all over.
Yay. And then using your webcam covers.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know what that was. If you had put that note on there, I would
I
not.
put the little sticky note on there. Okay, so that's just some CVB examples of advertising, partnership advertising, and then you have everything else, annual reporting and financial review. So do you have any other questions about the CVB before I switch over?
Can you mention the bear,
Yeah, what is the bear?
So the Bear
All the-
Scavenger Hunt is, it's an initiative that we did because we were getting so many questions and interest at the visitor center. People were starting to ask us a lot about the bears, and you're familiar with the black bears in Oak Hill, the wooden
Mhm.
cart bears. So the beautification committee for the city came up with this idea to do the bears. Businesses picked it up and ran with it. There's probably 20, 25 bears now in the city, and there's gonna be more coming. So over the last year, we started to get a lot of questions, interest. What are the bears? What do we do? Where are they? So we talked about coming up with just a list of the bears to send them out to, but then we got with our digital relativity agency and came up with the idea to make it more interactive so that we can see where these people are coming from, and they have to post selfies and they are going to post their answers to these questions. So there's 12 clues for 12 bears within the city of Oak Hill, so they can go around and figure out which bear is which clue, submit their information online, submit selfies, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and they can get all these extra entries. And we're going to do it's going on right now. And we have a grand prize giveaway of a $500 honeypot of gift cards, gift certificates for the area that we're going to give away on Labor Day weekend. So that's when it'll kind of end. But we'll still promote them, of course, and we'll have a list of all the bears to share for Oak Hill.
You're behind the curve.
Everybody's telling me to get a bear.
There's one right across from you, and one across from you is on the.
You could just put a sign pointing to
Yeah.
the bear. Shared bear.
Shared bear.
Could say that yours retired once from the funeral home.
Yeah.
What happened to that?
They pulled them.
Why? Freaking people out or something?
I guess
Was it? Michelle always knows what's going on in it.
Yeah.
Finger on the pulse. Okay, do you guys have any questions for Becky?
Good.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right, if you want to move on, I
Moving on to
got to
Bridge
switch
Day.
hats. I'm going to
Bridge
switch
Day
from
hat.
CVB to Bridge Day. Is the bylaws first or the bylaws? Okay, so first we are going to talk about the decision on approving and adopting the Bridge Day Commission bylaws. These have already been approved by the Bridge Day Commission, and they should be in your packet. They're about 5 pages long. They are totally revised as far as Bridge Day Commission operational rules, regulations, and bylaws. So the Bridge Day Commission accepted them on May 18th.
So I'll tell you guys the difference in them, since I'm the one who largely made the edits after we had a working group on it and decided what we wanted to edit. But we basically cut them down. I mean, bylaws are supposed to be simple in how you operate. And we had every little detail for every organization, what everybody will do, everybody will do this. Well, that's up to those organizations. And a lot of it, frankly, is up to the CBD, which runs Bridge Day. So we took out all that detail that wasn't necessary for the Bridge Day Commission to do its job and cut it down just to the necessary things. And to address, we had a couple of provisions, and I'm going to pull them up, to address the issue we had last year with canceling Bridge Day, to add that there would be, a penalty, or, if a vendor that we were relying upon for the event withdrew, like they could be banned for subsequent years, which if you know the base jumpers, they want to be here. So there's going to be a big outrage if anybody in any subsequent year unilaterally withdraws from the event, and then they are banned for a subsequent year. It might cost us for a minute, but I bet it won't happen again. So that's what we did to address that issue. And there's a couple of other things, just accountability and making sure everybody knew whose job was what. But that's pretty much what the thrust of the changes were that we made to make it more, easy to comprehend, easy to understand what the Bridge Day Commission's responsibilities are versus the responsibilities of the security subcommittee, for example, and that sort of stuff, and processes. So I think they look a lot better. I'm happy with them. I think it addresses our concerns from last year that caused us to have to change our vote to cancel Bridge Day. And so therefore I move that we approve the changes as presented.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Just one? I would rather us all sign this one because I'm on it and wrote it. We'll just all
got-
sign, we'll all sign right above it.
Yeah.
And I didn't write. I wrote it based on what the working group said. I didn't write it myself.
Yeah, I remember the discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did update them about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some,
We talked about it. I remember. It was a while back.
yeah. We're on page 86 of USA Today. I was looking here. Like, where are we?
It looks like there's a lot of good stuff in it to look at, too, so
Yeah,
take my time going through it.
good national park.
I'm too nosy. I have to see what's going on. All right, so you had another couple of matters, right?
Yep, the next Bridge Day Commission agenda item is the approval for appointments for the Bridge Day Commission. There are two appointments that expire in August. One is the sheriff's seat and one is the town of Fayetteville seat. So for the sheriff's, Fayette County Sheriff's Office, appointed representative is Michael Fridley, and town of Fayetteville representative is Lori Tabbitt.
And just something that I always forget and lose sight of with regard to the appointments on the Bridge Day Commission is that there are 6 voting members and those, just like our seat, is represented by an entire organization and not just, an individual. So the organization appoints the voting member and then we approve it. So the Bridge Day Commission approves it. So in these cases, we don't have a lot of input and can't put out an advertisement. I mean, that would be up to the town of Fayetteville in this case, or the sheriff to decide, or Department of Highways.
I thought the sheriff had part of it.
He
Yes.
or his designee
Or he
probably.
does me.
Yeah, because if he's not available, he sends Rod Purdue
Yeah.
over to the meetings.
But yeah, I mean, that was how the statute, right, about the statute anticipated that, but as far as these members go, we pretty much have to go with their recommendation. Now, if somebody's not attending meetings or doing their job or things like that, then the Bridge Day Commission, and I think with our support, should go back to that organization and tell that organization, we need somebody who's going to attend our meetings if it's a voting member who's not showing up, or
Agree.
another critical member. But for those reasons, I move that we approve the appointments of Sheriff Ridley and Lori Tabbitt for the town of Fayetteville to the Bridge Day Commission.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All righty, thank you, Pam. Looks like we are running quite ahead of schedule.
We still have some things we need for the question.
That's true. So, and all right, so let's get back to the exhibit list. GST website. Okay. All right, so.
And Andy's here from GST.
Hey, who?
Trina, the website developer.
Okay, so let me start by saying this is me. But I looked at the website mock-up that using the Wix software, and I found it lacking in wow factor for what I think the Fayette County Commission should have given the national park. And that's nothing against Trina, because listen, I used Wix for my campaign you know, and had to work with that software to get stuff together. What I think we need is a graphics designer, and we put out a request for proposal to get somebody to design our logo, which looks kind of ghetto, and to design for the design portion of the site, for the administration portion of the site. That's, as you know, as tech people, that's a whole different matter. You know, once it's designed, it can be administered by anybody. So we put out, and if you guys are welcome to you know, put in a proposal for the website design. And we probably should have, and I, you know, didn't, I thought about it after the fact, and then Ruth and Amy raised it with me, that should we have competed the logo and the website design separately? Because some people do have a niche in website design, but really graphics designers can do any of that and all of that, in my view. So if somebody wants to bid on part of it, I think they can. But, you know, I don't think we need to change our request for proposal for that. But you guys are welcome to put in, you know, a proposal along with everybody else.
They did the first design, right?
They did a mock-up for us, and
And we built it off a template that we're using for most of the counties that are using this service. And, you know, we did ask for, you know, if you had any examples of what you wanted it to look like, and we, you know, didn't receive anything. So that's kind of just why we stuck with the template.
yeah, and well, I didn't get a request about what you wanted until after the RFP went out. And then as far as I was concerned, I don't want to have to go out and say, you know, as a lawyer / commissioner, I don't want to have to go out and search a bunch of websites. What I want is, you know, best effort. I don't want it to look like any other, you know, county municipality, you know, like our current website or something that's just barely, you know, that's utilitarian.
Sure, I understand.
We need a graphics
The reason
component.
we went with a template model is cost.
Yeah.
And I believe and can believe that you'll find when you do go out and go look for a graphic designer
You're
and
right.
everything, you know, the cost is going to be associated with that, you know, customized look. So that's kind of why we went with the template model, because cost is a big issue for 90% of our customers. And we completely understand if you want to spend that money on that other.
And it would usually be a consideration for us. So that was a very reasonable, because we are cheap, fiscally conservative, you know.
I understand.
I mean,
Like I said, 90% of our customers.
Right.
That's the first
but
line item is cost.
I welcome you guys to put in you submit a request for proposal, because in this case, we have a different set of considerations than a lot of the other counties. We have a new national park. I feel like when you go to Fayette County's website, it needs to look like we're trying to draw in businesses. We're trying to bring in industry. And if we look like a podunk county and town, they might discount us in ways. That's our face forward, our foot forward in the industry. So I feel like if I were in the industry and I went to one and I saw the template or whatever that, you know, then I would think, but if I went into our county and I saw, wow, these people are serious, like they're advertising, you know, they put some effort, they care about their image. And we do, because we're trying to recruit industry here.
Sure.
And so, you know, now it may turn out that we can't afford it. You know, that's why we're putting it out there. But I think we should
Have an option.
have the option and try to afford it, because I do think it will pay off over time. I do think it will. So in my mind, you know, GST does a great job for us as far as administering whatever design we have, you know, whether it's yours or another. That's not a concern. You know, it's more about the design itself.
And I
So-
think the contract too is for administration of the website.
Yeah, but I did see something that let me pull that contract up.
You did mention their cost for designing the website.
Yeah, and it had some other kind of GST website software, something mentioned in
And
there.
that's just the software used to, you know, our cost to host the website.
Your cost to what?
We just look at the cost of preparing the wording.
I have switched to electronic copies, so bear with me just for a second.
Yeah, so in the contract, the development of the website line item is there, and then the annual software maintenance, basically the cost of maintaining the
This
website.
GST web host platform software, what is that?
I believe it's whatever web hosting platform we use, if it's Wix or Trina can probably speak to that.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, go ahead.
it
Tina.
would be I'm sorry about that. It would be the, just the Wix, I think was probably just the initial setup of the design. But what I'd like to do is, I'd like to come up with a different design for you. And as far as a proposal, there's really not a proposal to be given, because it's just included with whatever your current proposal is. So, but I do want to say that the reason, and I realize that now I realize that I actually didn't realize that you wanted something different, but I can certainly come up with something if you'd like. I don't know if you want to wait for other proposals to come in.
Well, no, I mean, you guys should, as an organization, submit a proposal under the guidelines of the RFP we put out for us to consider it for this purpose.
Well, this contract that came forward to me was for, time that's already passed. Have you already paid that for last year?
Last year?
Yeah.
Oh, that's last year.
Because the one that Canon sent me was for time from August of 2021 to June 30th of 2022. That was
Probably already paid that.
for, part of the development of the website, the 3 line items in the contract, development of the website, annual software maintenance, and then the email addresses, which, haven't been into the.
Yeah, the
those haven't been
contract
billed
I
yet.
have now is 2022 to.
That's what it
So that's
says.
a new one, yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't get a copy of that one. Can I see that real quick?
You can.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I read the dates.
Canon sent me last year's.
It's saying,
So that's the annual software maintenance. So the line item I'm looking at was the development of the website for last year was $2,900 some odd dollars.
why did we have we're still using our long used website.
Yeah, because it has the one developed hasn't been approved yet. For that to go live. I mean, you guys
Yeah, it
haven't,
wasn't approved.
you guys haven't approved it yet to go live. So, in my
You
mind.
mean the one we just got? The Wix one that we just got?
That was the draft.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
draft.
because we just got it. So why would we have paid it last year when we just got it?
Well, I'm not sure if you paid it, but there was a line item that was on last year's contract for the development of the website.
Let's look
for-
at it, because I don't think that we didn't have it, we haven't deployed the website, so that doesn't seem like
Yeah,
a fair expense.
Yeah, the deploying and developing are different there. I mean, we are developing, we have developed the website. We just haven't deployed it yet.
But it
Yeah.
just got developed, how long ago did we get it?
It
Like,
started I want to say in October.
but how long should,
I mean, Trina's been working on this, working on it.
okay, well, I'll
The whole
tell you,
time.
no offense, Trina, but I had a pretty good looking website from Wix that took me about a day. So I don't understand why, if we just got this been within the past couple of weeks, hasn't it, that we got it, past month, that we saw the mock-up? I don't know, I just feel like there's something off with that charge, because we didn't even see it until recently, and anyway, but we'll take a look at it, talk to you about it.
Sure, but if that line item has already been paid, I mean, what I was trying to get at is, where you put out an RFP for designing a website, I mean, you've already paid us to do that, potentially. So, I mean, given that you want something specifically designed, and Trina's willing to do that, I think, it's already a contract that was previously signed and paid for, given that opportunity. That way, you can take a look at that design. And then you may not have a need, you may like it, you may not have a need for the RFP that you put out.
I see. So you're saying that you will go ahead and undertake a different design, as Trina mentioned, to satisfy what we've already requested and paid for?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay. Well, I feel a lot better about that.
yeah.
Okay, so,
He didn't say it, he didn't make it that simple.
yeah, I know. I was like,
I
well,
understood it, but you
I
gotta
know,
make it
I
simple.
know it's kind of hard once I start, cross-examining. So it's, I wouldn't want to be.
I have-
on the other
yeah,
end of
I
when
have
ask this
Full
question.
faith in Trina to come up with a design that you'll like, and if you don't, so be it.
Okay,
But I think moving forward with the RFP, I mean, the design, you've already paid us to do that, so.
okay. Well, then in that
Now that
case,
we
I
have
do
your
not feel
feedback.
like you need to submit it under the RFP if you're saying we've already paid for it. So, okay. All right, well, then great. I look forward to seeing what you have. We are
Yeah,
still,
Allison, I was thinking what I could do is come up with a couple different homepage, maybe a couple secondary pages, just to give you an idea of what, as long as I'm on, I just want to show that I'm on the right path. So I will send you a few different website designs based on your current needs. I know now of what you're looking for.
okay, we're
I'll do
still
that.
gonna probably get a logo design. I mean, assuming we can afford it, and we think we can afford it, which will have to be incorporated. But that sounds like a great idea. If you could send it to Ruth, she'll forward it to all of us, and then we can take a look.
Yes.
Thank you.
So do we want to approve their maintenance contract?
Yes, of course we do. Yeah, that's different. Okay, so I move that we approve the GST maintenance contract.
One second.
All those in favor? Aye. And then with regard to website services, I move that we postpone that. Trina, how long do you think it will take you to get us those mock-ups?
I can get you probably 2 different designs by the end of next week.
Okay, well, I mean, just tell us, because we're not going to meet again. Our next regular meeting is when?
Yeah, 20th.
Yeah, but that's
27th.
Okay.
27th.
27.
27th of July is our next, would you be able to do it before then?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so I move that we postpone the website services contract with GST to July 27th. Website services, the second.
Okay,
Website
okay.
services.
I second. I got it.
Mhm.
Or
Took a second
here.
time.
Yeah.
Second time.
All
And
those in
Allison,
favor?
I'm sorry, who did you say I should send those drafts to?
To Ruth Lanier, the county.
Oh, Ruth? Okay,
administrator.
sure.
Yeah. 2727, okay, so motion a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, domain and email updates.
So Amy can speak to this a little bit, but I saw an email chain back and forth between her and Matt. The .gov domain has been fully approved, and we've integrated everything. We've got all the technical information with the .gov registrar. So now it's just the point where we just need a list of usernames, and we can build it out.
And I gave all the departments a deadline of Friday to get those names to me, and I've gotten almost all of them.
Okay.
So we can
What
say
naming scheme do you
First dot,
recommend?
last name, because if not, like,
If we've got to, like if Anna changed her name, we would have 2 8 Dangerfields.
Right.
So
first dot, last name.
Okay. Yeah,
It's like I
I
have
don't
my
want the
Gmail.
middle initial in there. 'cause I think
it's just a pain in the butt. Yeah,
and you have to guess what people's middle initials are.
Right.
Another email.
okay, so we'll get that list to them by when?
I told the departments to get it to me by Friday, so hopefully I can get it out to them. If everybody responds to me sooner rather than later, Monday at the latest.
Once we get you that, then how long will it take to get those set up?
The administration or RN would just take a couple hours for Matt or whoever to get it set up, and then we would forward you the information. We could walk, as part of your service contract you already have with us, and then we can help whoever needs to get set up on that. And we can also send links to websites on how to set them up on the various devices on your computer, on your phone, iOS, Android.
How would we transition from our current wv.gov emails and still have that? I mean, we're gonna need to
Sure.
have all that because
You're gonna need to overlap for probably 6 months to a year.
that's what I thought too, up to a year. That's what we had planned for
Yeah.
a year.
Best way to do it is, I've found, is just throw it in your signature. You know, we are moving, please update your email address.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you guys can create something like that, right, as you set them up? Because I think we need to create a
Automatic.
that kind of disclosure and some stuff.
Sure, but it would have to go each into, so do most of the folks here use the webmail for the wv.gov email addresses?
Right now, we're web-based.
Outlook?
I use web-based. Yes, just go Gmail, yeah.
It's Gmail based now.
Oh, it's Gmail based. Okay. So but it's like a web browser that you log into. Each individual user would have to go in there in your signature settings and just say, we are transitioning email addresses.
Can you guys like come up with some verbiage and instructions for that?
Yeah, we can look at that. I'll work with Amy.
Okay, so because one of our biggest concerns about having our own, domain and, well, first of all, wv.gov, is unwieldy and a big pain. Secondly, we don't have a cohesive way. We use Gmail. We don't have a cohesive way to be able to respond to FOIA requests or to archive data of employees who have left and that sort of stuff. So we want to have some accountability.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we went down the path of suggesting you guys get your own domain. And with the rack space, like, so if you wanted to create like FOIA at Fayette CountyWV.com, you can create that inbox, or some can be even aliases.
Yep. Because he knows his office would have to look at it.
Yeah. Prosecuting attorney.
I do kind of like that idea though.
Yeah.
Well, no, but it's not the same. I mean, a FOIA request is not the issue tracking them. The issue is having access to the data to respond to them has been the issue. So when somebody comes in and they say, I want all the communications between this person and this person, then we find out, I'll just use them as example, Gabe Pena, who left, his predecessor, we've needed access to her information. And because it was personal email address, a lot of times we can't get to it.
Sure. No.
And so we want to
understand.
create a policy where everybody has to use these addresses to conduct business, and we'll put it through the Wage and Benefit Review Board, so all the elected sign off on it. But where we create a policy, everybody, you have to use Fayette WV.gov to communicate. So then when we have to respond or we have to ask for, we don't want to be Hillary Clinton and have our own server and our own stuff going on.
Yeah, no, it'll, be, hosted at Rackspace and, be archived. And all that stuff.
In all seriousness, it probably
would be
a good idea.
well, and I feel like Michelle's office is the information hub. Like we have to figure out how to get our public information filed with her office. That way FOIAs could.
But we also need to keep in mind that I generally construe FOIA liberally. I don't like playing games, so we need to send it to the records.
Right.
So we're not responding. We just need to get a system in place so that when it comes in, we get it to the relevant records custodian immediately, whether it's Michelle or whether it's.
Yeah, and you can set up aliases like,
911 center.
yeah, you can set up aliases like that will just, it's like, say you set up one for FOIA and a constituent sends an email to FOIA at Fayette County. You can set it up to send it to multiple people. So,
Like the park, we have one.
yeah.
To do that for another reason. Since I've been here, there's been instances where I get a phone call on day 21. Oh, we got this FOIA request 3 weeks ago. And now they're calling and complaining that we haven't responded. And it's like.
You had 5 days.
You do understand you have 5 business days. Well, we didn't know that, so it would be helpful. And what I found with most people is if you respond within 5 days and say, we don't have it ready, we will have it ready on this date. Here's why we don't have it ready. I've only had one person complain that it wasn't.
We know who that was.
Yes, you know.
Fayette terrorist.
There's only been one person who's complained. Everyone else has been very understanding and willing to give us additional time. I mean, FOIA does not have a built-in extension, but as a practical matter, it's usually a function of, we'll get these requests that just ask for such a large volume of information, it's not possible to get it all gathered up within that time frame. But I think it would be a good idea, since I review most of those anyway, so I think it probably would be a good idea.
And if you think of any others, like say like county commission,
Emergency management or.
just
something
like general
that. County
type,
administrator.
general type
County
email
clerk. And
services.
some of those probably should be that way.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking like for the website, it's so much easier if you put there to email like county clerk at
Yeah.
Fayette County.
And then
For
blast it out to
certificate
the whole
requests or
office.
whatever.
Yeah, positions that are, you know, prosecuting attorney at Fayette County. That
I
way,
started to ask that in my email.
but think about that.
Well, I mean, so I would suggest like for that to have your own individual one and then also create the county clerk one and then have, you know, like general county clerk requests or records or deeds or
Yeah, yours is
whatever.
really different.
Yeah, that way
We
you
can set
can
up who that would.
go to
who that would
multiple
go to.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't like say someone's on vacation or whatever. It doesn't fall down for a week.
And we're revamping the website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah, you missed that part. They're
They're
probably like, shh, go ahead and keep
I
going.
got,
it's fine.
Well, Anthony, too, I really think like, given some of the things that have happened recently where people are walking in and, you know, they're walking into the clerk and asking for things and they're walking in. I feel like those requests should be in writing so we can track that they came in and that we responded to them.
Well, and just talking about the First Amendment monitor, FOIA does not require that we provide them with a form. The flip side to that is, I don't necessarily think it would be a bad idea to have forms available. Now, the one thing from that video that I saw that guy demanded that the county employees fill it out.
Yeah, I don't
And
think, yeah,
I don't like that idea for a number of reasons.
Same.
Because when it's all said and done, if something goes wrong, they can then point the finger at our employee and say, well, that's not what I said. So I don't have a problem with us having a form available for people, but I don't think our employees should fill it out. If you want the information, you should fill it out and provide it to us. And FOIA doesn't say that we have to do that. I'm not trying to stonewall people, it's just, I don't want to get in a situation.
Trying to make your life easier.
Well, no, it's not a question of making my life easier. I don't want somebody to later on try to point a finger at one of our employees and say, well, you wrote it down wrong.
Yes.
That's not what-
well,
that's not what
yeah,
it
I mean, we need to have an official response. And the other, like, I wasn't even thinking of that person when I thought that. I was thinking in terms of, you know, you mentioned not adhering to, like, it doesn't have to say FOIA. If it's a request for information, we should
Yeah,
probably
I
treat it as FOIA.
I don't think
So
it's-
we had an individual come in and ask for information from the county clerk, and that same individual asked for information from the county administrator. Different information, went to the right places to get it. But none of those requests were in writing. And so we didn't have the fact that the request happened, and then we didn't have documentation that we responded to it. So that's the concern I have, is that somebody, you know, and like, if you're coming in to get your own tax information, that's different. But I'm talking about, you know, if you come in and you want an oath of office, we've had several requests for oath of office, or you come in and you want, you know, position descriptions, which was the other request we had, you know, then those kind of things, I want it documented that we got that request in writing and that we responded to that request in writing. Because that way nobody can say, well, I asked for it and never got it. Well, you know, and plus I want there to be a record that they asked for it. You know, I mean, if you're, you know, if you want this, like I often have complaints, I want those in writing too, you know, because we get text complaints about people all the time and they're trying to be sneaky and complain to one commissioner and then do something else. And then when it comes to time to address it, they want us to address it, but to address it it has to be public, you know, and it's not. So that's kind of the way I see it. Like if somebody's coming in, I just don't want us to get in a situation where somebody comes in and asks for an oath of office. In that case, we hadn't even administered the oath of office. So we were like, holy crap, we were supposed to do that. And then we went back and did it. But you know, I don't, huh?
It's recorded.
Yeah, and thank goodness you pointed it out to us, you know, but you know, if we have all that in writing, then we can show if anybody comes back later and says, we request all this information, didn't get it, we can show, yes, you did. I think we need to come up with a procedure for it, and maybe we should send all of our FOIA responses through.
So that way they're automatically saved. I mean,
Are they certified? Most of them certified or not?
you mean certified mail?
For you.
A lot of them are hand delivered. Some of them are received by, I mean, it's a hodgepodge. Some are hand delivered, some are
Does the
emailed.
Well, I've always
statute
certified,
require?
I certified mine.
You certified.
Yeah, I did. I certified
Does the
mine.
statute require?
Require
The signature.
that, can we require it to be electronic or not?
I have to look at that and see. I don't know.
I feel like we need to streamline it somewhere, you know, if there's a way. I don't want to put undue burdens
Well,
on people.
I think your point is well taken. I think responses should be in writing. So there be a documentation of what happened. And even the response doesn't necessarily have to include what information we're giving them. The response just simply needs to say, we have mailed you these records. If you have, you haven't
On this
received- if
date.
you don't receive them by this date, then please get back with me. Or I know with the 911 center, they have provided a Dropbox link
Mhm.
to provide records on a couple of occasions. In some instances, I've responded by telling people that the records they want are available here at the courthouse, and they're free to come and look between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, except for state holidays. But having that response protects us.
And there may be some nexus to the state FOIA database that we, and the ability to track that we just authorized Ruth and Amy to have access to. Actually, didn't we say we wanted Anthony to have access to it too?
Everybody has access to the database, it's just submitting them to the state.
The ones that have come into the county?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I
So
just
this
want
is where we provide information to.
the state about requests that the counties have received.
Right, we're supposed to estimate the amount of time it took to respond or something to that effect, I think.
I don't know. Would you be willing to, I know we kind of diverted from what you're doing, but would you be willing to either yourself or delegate it to Michael Taylor's office to come up with a FOIA policy
Sure.
for us?
Exactly that.
Okay. I mean, it's up to you on how you want to do that. They might have one. So if they don't, then, you know, I feel like you should inform it no matter what, but they might have already developed something like that for somebody. So, so the email, once you get the names, how long will it take, do you think, to?
It'll be up and running within hours of getting those, that list.
So,
And then, it'll take time to get in touch with everybody.
yeah,
We'll probably take a day or so to, just, I'm not sure how Rackspace, I know there's links. We can provide links to, those that are tech savvy enough to configure it on their own, could follow those links. They're very straightforward. Majority of your folks will be able to get all that set up on their own. On either Outlook, Windows Mail, every kind of program, every kind of device, iOS, Android, it has all that listed there on how to set it up. So, yeah, it'll be a quick process to get it set up and going once we get the list of usernames.
But if you get a list of 300 names, it'll take longer than 2 hours.
Yeah, it'll take, if it also depends on, I believe Matt and Carl, all their guys that have admin access to our Rackspace account to do that. So, it all depends on when it comes in, how covered up they are. But I would say a day or two at most.
I feel like too, Amy, we can
Yes.
reach back out to the electeds and see if they want, if anybody needs into our department heads, if they need a, like a county clerk at,
A generic.
yeah, but with it, ask them to describe what type of email is gonna come to that. And if the county clerk wants an individual email, like we need to understand what type of email should go to the county clerk email. Not that it will control it entirely, but the purpose of that
How
email
it should be
address.
directed. in there.
Yeah.
If you wanted multiple people to, like, whoever, like say someone
You want
sends in.
multiple people to access it, all of that.
Well, the way it would probably work, the way we have our aliases set up is it's just a dummy email address that forwards. So,
Okay, but like, for example, when I was saying prosecuting attorney at, for him, it's gonna be different, because there's a lot of attorney-client privilege stuff in there that, we may not want to
yeah,
go.
those would just be
So-
general specific, like question type emails.
So we
Like,
could create
if you
one
have
that it
questions,
forwarded to Anthony Siliberti at.
exactly, if you have questions for the prosecuting attorney, then it could go to Anthony or Marilyn or whoever at the office he wants to receive that generic inbox to field just general support questions. And then, the individual could then respond.
Let's
Same way
convene
for each office.
the Wage and Benefits Review Board, because that will have all the relevant parties there, and we can address this there. And Ruth, if you and I can get on the HR manual before and go over it with John Tom, before that, then we can try to address that too.
What's your time frame? And I'll tell you if you can.
Well, you tell me, because it's gonna be a little bit. She's got a deadline. I mean, I think we can make it whenever we want. How much time do we have? Well, you're at budget right now.
End of year, so, yeah.
Okay, let's not do HR, but I'll go ahead and convene with regard to emails. It'll be a short and quick. So we have a review board, so what I would like is to see if you could attend that meeting, even if by Zoom, or you can come in person, where all the elected officials will be present, and then you can explain this to them and explain what
Sure.
the meaning of that type of account would be and what their options are, and that way then they can decide well-informed, like how they
Sure.
want to run their office.
Yeah, just send me the info.
Okay. Sweet. All right. Anything else? That's it? Okay.
Thanks.
You need, like,
We had Jamie.
a couple of minutes.
I'm not very-
It'll go fast. We allocated a lot of time for him. Oh, really? Let me,
I did not.
well, Evan knows, we know that he can. All righty, Mr. Blankenship, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. This is in the matter of Timmy Ray Arrington. This was a case, I have filed a motion to be removed from this estate for the reason that I was erroneously appointed. This was an affidavit for small estate was filed by the one of the heirs, Joyce Arrington, and there became a dispute. Someone filed a dispute about certain values that were placed in the appraisement that's part of the affidavit. And so thereafter, this was in, I think in December, I was appointed in January to, because of the rejection to the inventory and appraisal. And that's what was, I think, erroneous. I shouldn't have been appointed in a small estate. However, I got the appointment, so I went through the whole thing. I went through a hearing. I went through taking evidence. I had a report of claims, and then I had to amend that because there was some other evidence that was submitted. I went through the whole shebang. And then I was prepared a report and sent it over to the clerk's office for presentation, since there were no objections to my report of claims by the folks involved. So in that case, the county commission approves it. If no objections are filed, the statute says you shall approve. So that was the stage we were at. And then I was advised that I shouldn't have been appointed in the first place. So
What is the dollar amount on an estate that invokes your appointment? Do you know?
clerk, what do you tell
Well,
your people?
So for him to be appointed automatically to an estate, it has to be anything over 200,000. In this case, there was a dispute between what the original successor, which is what is named in a small estate, placed on the list of inventory, and then what someone else thought. Well, the house is worth this much, not that much. I don't know what it was. I didn't get that close, but that's kind of where that, and so in a small estate, they don't file the dispute with the clerk's office. Part of the small estate process is if you have a claim against an estate or a dispute with it, it has to go through the court. You have to go through circuit. And there's a window of time in which they can file for a fiduciary commissioner, but that window of time had passed by the time this happened, and it just kind of fell into a crack of some description. I'm not sure what happened with, I think someone was out. It might have been even when Lisa was out on her extended leave.
Okay.
And, you know, and so
So by me being removed, I would ask that the parties be placed in the same position that they were on the time of the filing of this petition. And I don't mind preparing an order and serving everybody and telling them that we're starting over with this. And if anybody has any objections, or I guess you will at that point address the objection and advise them that they had to go to circuit court in order to resolve that.
That wouldn't start their timeline over to ask for you though, would it?
I think,
If we go back to that date, I'm
we
just
could,
curious.
non pro tunc as to that issue only, the objection, not as to my appointment, because that'd be silly.
Yeah, that's why I just wanted to avoid.
Okay. I'll be real definite if you all agree with that. I don't think it's appropriate for me to continue as fiduciary commissioner, but I want to wrap it up.
Okay. Yeah, Anthony, were you listening to all that? Yeah, I think that's fine. I just want to make sure it's, I just want to make sure it's worded so it's not, so it doesn't revert to you again and you
Very
get
good.
stuck again.
I'll be real careful.
Thank you.
I will do so.
Okay, so we'll just, I think we don't need to vote on that today, right? We'll vote once you give us the order.
I'll present that order. I mean, you can vote on the action and then I'll just.
And then you can
get
stamp the order after Anthony reviews it.
Can we do that, just stamp the order after you review it?
Well,
We can give them
the
permission.
order
to do that.
simply reflects what the county commission did, so. what I think is correct, you guys can vote on it today, and then the order can be submitted to reflect what the county commission.
And I'll send it to Anthony for approval. So his
Yes,
signature will be on it before you get it,
okay,
and mine.
and then just,
And then can I?
is everybody okay with stamping?
I'm okay with
Can I
Ruth.
stamp it?
I'm okay.
Or to
We have,
approve
we
it?
have the authority to do that.
We can give it to her right now.
Yeah.
I think. Okay,
Mhm.
so I move that we approve Mr. Blankenship's removal from the estate Timmy Arrington based on the preceding discussion, and that once he prepares the order, the prosecuting attorney approves it, that Ruth is able to stamp our names to that order to expedite action in the case.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the Fox estate.
Yes, this is one of those cases where I have filed a report of claims. There was, I've got a thick file here of an objection that was filed, which I approved with respect to a statute of limitations on a judgment. And so I filed an amended report. All parties were served, and there were no objections filed within the time period permitted by statute, which is 10 days from the filing of the report and notice. And all of that has been complied with, and I have an order approving the amended report of claims due to the fact that there were no objections filed.
Okay,
And that's it.
and you reviewed that, Anthony?
Yeah.
And based on that, I move that we approve the order.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Done.
Aye.
Oh, you got
I said it, I just didn't get it out. I make no noise.
All righty.
it. I'm wrapping up my fiduciary matters. And It's still pretty active.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blankenship.
All right, thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. See
Have a
ya.
good evening.
All right, Brownfields.
Working on websites still, hang on.
It's just the RFP.
Yeah, it's just the RFP for you to approve for us to publish.
Can you just explain for the record what?
Yeah, so we need to set out a request for proposals for qualified environmental consultants that will maintain and do most of the paperwork and reporting to the the EPA during our process of the assessment grant over the next 3 years. So this is the bulk of what we will spend our money on is the consultant. And we are holding back 10%, 5% you can use for admin fees, which are kind of vague, and WVU CAB is going to help me with that, which things will fall under administrative fees, which actually doesn't even make sense based on what she's explained, but we're also holding back another 5% just in case there are any, we don't want to give up all of our funds right away. So if there are any.
Have we had this before?
We've had this grant definitely in 2010, and then we didn't get it in the meantime, and then we've gotten it again. So this is our second.
So this is
Our
for a
third
grant that we've received and we need a consultant, kind of like we hired Bill Hines on the Meadow River Trail to help us.
Basically, but when I went to that training in Virginia a few weeks ago,
We've already approved for the funds to do it. Though.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I mean-
We don't, it's already, this is the brownfield that we put in a year ago.
yeah, we got 378 for the
Okay.
actual grant.
Just to
So
remind
this
you,
is the
I'm just
RFP for.
giving you a flash.
No, I'm glad you did because listen, I'm still like learning.
Yeah, I know,
stuff
it's a
anytime.
process.
And so when I went to the training the other day, they were like, get your consultant in place right now because they're the ones that know how to navigate you through this process.
All righty, well, I move that we approve the RFP for the consultant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, let's recess, take a break until 11 a.m. Casey,
Which I didn't.
is
know.
Casey gonna be here?
Yeah, no, he's gonna be on Zoom.
Oh, Zoom.
Yep.
Well. All right, we're back. It's 11 o'clock and do we have Casey Bowling on Zoom?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Casey, morning.
Hey, Alice. Good morning.
So talk to us about your request.
So I know all of you kind of know already, but for the record, we are going to develop the 9.5 acres beside Lowe's there. And my partner and I have a lot of money invested in the county, as you all know. And this is a very exciting project for us and one I hold dear to my heart because I want to see this place improve. And there's no question that we need, with the tourism that we're seeing now, that we need a nice hotel for these tourists, excuse me, for these tourists to stay in while they're here. So they're staying here in Fayette County and spending their money here in Fayette County versus coming to visit the park, heading up to Summersville to stay at a Hampton or heading over to Beckley for similar option for a hotel stay and spending their money there. So we've worked very hard, and it took us a long time to find a Hilton developer that was willing to jump in and be all in with us here and build and I'm happy to announce, build a $15 million, roughly $15 million Hampton Inn over there beside Lowe's. And so that's going to be very exciting for us, for the community, for the county. And along with the Hampton spot, we're going to have 6 other additional parcels that we intend to surround the Hampton with restaurants and potential retail businesses as well. So we see a lot of money that's going to be going into that property, and we're going to see the estimated tax revenue from that hotel alone for property tax is about $200,000 a year, and the hotel motel B&O for the town of Fayetteville is over $100,000 a year. And so I have sent you all the construction budget estimate numbers there via email. And so for the infrastructure to go in, we're looking at a little over 1.1 million, and that's for everything: the water, the sewer, the roads, the whole bit. And so what we're trying to do is secure funding with the rescue plan money and the money that's out there right now for economic development. We feel like this is a perfect piece, and with those kinds of returns from a tax standpoint from just the hotel alone, we feel like that's one heck of a return for such a small investment. And when I say such a small investment, I mean in relativity to the whole project. So obviously 1.1 million is not a small investment, but nonetheless, when you're getting $300,000 back a year, over $300,000 back a year on that investment, I don't know anyone that wouldn't want that kind of return. So what we're asking for is for the county to partner with us and help us fund this infrastructure, and whatever they can't do, we are in talks with Mitch Carmichael and Chelsea Ruby. We're going to go to the state and see if we can bridge that gap, whatever that number might be, and see if we can get direct funding from the state to help with the county. And so that's kind of the basis for the call. And I have sent you all the plans, the master plan, the phase 1, and that's what we're here for today.
Can I ask you a question? Hey, Casey, this is Tom Louise. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Tom, doing good.
Hey, just for the public's information to the public, the $1.1 million infrastructure, does that just go to the proposed Hampton Inn?
That covers every parcel on the land. So that goes to the Hampton Inn along with the 6 additional parcels for restaurants and or retail. So basically we'll be stubbing up utilities to each parcel and, basically having pad ready for development. So when we find a taker, they're able to go in there and start immediately.
What other property owner that you know of that the county has gave money to for infrastructure on their own property?
I'm not sure, Tom. I just concern myself with my property. Honestly, I don't know what. I don't know what.
Well, if I was you, what I'm trying to say is, I just don't. You're for profit, and I hope you become a billionaire over this. But it's hard for me to grasp a man that's going to sell 6 parcels of property, probably lease majority of the property, wants the county to use the people's money for infrastructure for all 6 or 7 lots, when I would just request 1 lot. I would request the Hampton Inn and then go from there. But for the people of Fayette County to fund my personal profit business, I just can't grasp that. I mean, I've never done it. My uncle, I don't think's ever done it, and my dad's never done it. I don't know how other businessmen do this, but I have a hard time grasping that. You sell them the 2-acre lot for how much?
Well, I don't know if I should do. Charles, do you think? And by the way, Charles Hughes is on the phone with me here. Charles,
okay,
you think I'm okay from the hotel people's perspective to release what we're selling it for? I mean, I don't care to tell you. I just want to protect their interest,
Well, their interest. They're going to make money.
I mean,
it'll be
No, I'm
public
talking, I'm
record.
talking about the purchase price before we, because we haven't closed on it officially yet. So I just don't know how I feel about
Okay.
without talking to them.
Yeah, I don't
about
think we'd have
releasing
any, I'm sorry, this is Charles Hughes. I don't think Casey have any problem sharing that, but I don't know that we're prepared to share that at this moment without speaking to the buyer in that transaction. So we wouldn't want to do anything, get that sideways, but I don't, there's no intent to necessarily hide anything. It's just a matter of, let us get back to you on that. And we're happy to give you that number.
Well, I mean, I understand that you're come requesting for $1.1 million in infrastructure, and you can't tell us what the selling price is on the property. I mean, I understand.
No, I can't. No, I can tell you, Tom. I just can't tell you right now. I'd be happy to tell you. Surely you understand not wanting to release it without talking to them. We haven't closed it yet. I mean, that's.
Yeah, there's a difference
crazy
between
thing.
can't and want. I mean, I think Casey wants to tell you, and I think we do want to tell you and want to be transparent, but there's another party involved here, and I just don't know that it's appropriate this time without consulting with them. Make sure that we're okay disclosing that, and we haven't closed that deal yet. So, but happy to do whatever we can to get that information to you, and maybe even make a call today or tomorrow and get back to you with it. It's not about refusing to do it. Just want to make sure that we're not getting sideways with anybody else here. That's all.
I understand. How many acre parcels you got total? Is it 7 acres or there's how many acres you
Yeah,
going?
it's right at 9.5 total over there.
So Hampton's 2 acre lot, right?
2.5.
Well, I know the property that was sold in front of Walmart and Lowe's went, I think, from my recollection, that was anywhere between $500,000 and $600,000 an acre. So so you're looking at, let's see, I gotta use my trusty calculator here. That's 5.4 million that you should receive if you sell the property, but I don't think you're probably not going to sell it all, are you? If you
Probably
get
a mix use.
infrastructure, you'll probably lease the property for $10,000 an acre, between $7,000 and $10,000 an acre.
Yeah, it's going to be a mix. We're going to look for leases and potentially to sell some of it, both mix.
I just want the public to understand why I question the information and using their money for the profit that you're going to receive. I think
any of the infrastructure money in the country is taxpayer money. I mean, here's my rebuttal to you. You asked me how many people do I know that own property that have come and asked for money? Well, I know none, because I know no other people that have brought a $15 million Hampton Inn to sit it right in the center of the county here and shine like a star right along the highway. That's why I don't have anybody for you to tell now. Maybe
you do have infrastructure to the property, correct?
Yeah, there's infrastructure to the property. It's just a matter of extending it out beyond the 9.
Extending on your property. You're talking about the county and the people of Fayette County being your partner. I don't know whether this would even be legal or not, but it seems to me if you was asking us to be a partner, we would get some of that in profit.
Yeah, well, it seemed, I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know if I agree with that statement. I don't agree with that statement.
I know.
I don't know. Look, man, here's the bottom. I mean, the people of Fayette County, let's do a poll. Let's survey them on. Let's see if we invest $1 million and we get 300,000 back a year. Let's see if they think that's a good deal. Well, and then we can talk about it. I mean, I don't, to me, I'm a doer and a mover. And I want to move forward. I don't want to find a way. I'm here. Hell, man, I'm all in. I've got, I'm all in this county. I've got a lot of money, and I firmly believe in what we're doing. Obviously, I'm here today to see if you guys want to help jump on board. I mean, that's what the call's about. It's certainly not trying to find ways to get around it. I'm trying to find a way to make it happen because it's such a benefit for the county, and either you want to do it or you don't. And I'm not talking about you personally, Tom. I'm just talking anybody.
Hey, brother, it's okay. I just, to me, the people that doesn't have water and sewer across the river and other areas of the county, that's really important to me with using their money. And that's what this money is supposed to be used for. And that's basically all I got to say. I don't know if any other commissioners want to speak on it, but that's where I would rather go with this money personally. But I'll leave it at that.
I missed the last part of what you said, where you'd rather go personally with the money is where?
I would rather the money he's requesting to go towards the people that don't, in Fayette County, the residents that doesn't have water and sewer. If that's where the money, I would rather see that money spent there, and I think that's where it has to be spent. In developing infrastructure for the people that doesn't have running water and sewer. Casey?
Yeah.
The town of Fayetteville will benefit from the B&O tax and the hotel tax. And I know you did a presentation to them. What did their city council or town council tell you?
Well, I got word from them that basically they said they're not set up. They don't have a vehicle to do. Fayetteville's not set up for economic development, is what I was told. And so they don't have necessarily a vehicle, they're saying, to do something like this. And, you know, whether that vehicle could be created and you would be able to do it, that's a whole different subject. And you know, that's for a different discussion maybe, but that's what they told me. I just am relaying what they said, you know.
We're being more diplomatic about it.
Yeah.
Okay, and you had a meeting with Mitch Carmichael's office. And when are you supposed to hear something back on that?
It's my understanding that they are reviewing it now, and I could hear something back as early as this week even, or next week. And I don't know exactly when they're going to get back to me, but I do know they're reviewing it. I know Delegate Haynes and Senator Woodrum and Jenna Belcher all talked to Mitch about the project. And when I talked to Mitch personally, there was excitement there. And it sounded to me like the state wanted to help get involved in this. And that's kind of where it's at right now. It's just in review, I would say.
Thank you.
Sure.
I don't really have any questions.
And I would like to say the other thing too is, you know, just talking about the, you know, extending sewer for, I'm all for that. So look, I'm all for any kind of improvement here. I want to make that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I just want to make the place better. You know, that's essentially at the end of the day, it's that simple, believe it or not. I want, you know, yeah, am I in it to make money? Of course. Who isn't working to make money? But I just want to make the place better. And the future tax revenue coming off of this development over there can fund all kinds of residential improvements forever, in perpetuity. And so it's, you know, it's, I mean, at the end of the day, it's my feeling that we're either on board and we want to see this thing happen. And yeah, we want to help and get this done because we're going to reap a permanent benefit from this thing. Or, hey, we appreciate it. We like what you're doing. Thanks a lot, but we're not going to help. And that's kind of where it's at. And I'm just, you know, I'm hopeful, you know, you guys have all looked at our plans and stuff. I'm hopeful that you all will be on the side that says, hey, we want to help. We're on board. We want to help. This is what we can do. And how we do it, you know, I don't know the right way to do it, you know, as far as the funding goes. Tom, you have mentioned to me before about only using the rescue plan money for residential. I'm not sure. Maybe Charles can speak on that. I still have no confirmation that that's how that money is to be used. And anyway, if it doesn't come from that pool, maybe there's a way to get it done elsewhere. I just, you know, I have heard of using the general fund and backfilling with rescue plan dollars, and that's okay. I don't know what way you want to do it. It's just, do you want to do it? I guess is what I'm here for.
Hey, Casey, I got one more question for you, brother.
Yep.
What's the infrastructure cost just to the hotel?
I can't tell you, Tom. Because I don't know that. I haven't figured that. I would have to get with the engineers and let them do their magic and tell me.
I asked you that about 3 weeks ago on the phone when you talked to me about it. That's the reason I thought maybe you would have it for me today.
I don't remember you asking me that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That's how I knew the infrastructure you're talking about does the whole property in all 7 lots. at a conversation we had 3 weeks ago, and I asked what the infrastructure just to the hotel would be. And you said you would ask the same thing you just told me. You'd have to ask the engineer.
Yeah, I don't know. I talked to so many people, Tom. I might have forgot if you did ask me, but I certainly don't remember it. But that doesn't matter. I can figure that out for you in a couple of days. I mean, it's,
Okay.
it's I can let you know whatever number you're looking for. I can get it for you.
All right, Brad.
And I think the record should show this too, by the way. Everybody's got to speak their piece. And I feel like the only pushback I'm getting is from Tom, which is fine. Tom, I think you're a heck of a guy. I got no issue
Hey, I
at all with
appreciate
you.
it, brother.
I got no issue, but let me tell you something. I think the record and the people should know too that Tom has a big chunk of land across the road too. Now, whether that plays into this at all, maybe it does, maybe it does not. And frankly, it doesn't matter. I hope I hope you develop it all. That helps me. That helps the county. That helps the state. That helps everybody.
Well,
But I feel like you're beating me up a little bit, and all I'm trying to do is help. So I think if we're going to talk about what the people should know, I think the people should know that too, because that might be in play.
Well,
and maybe it's not.
Hey, Casey, I won't ask the county for any money. If I develop it, I won't ask the county for any money. I'll tell you that. I have to say that. We've owned that property since 79, and it's still there. And I don't think that I would ever ask the county for money. I'm not, I just have to say that.
Well, and I'll add to Casey that, I understand you're feeling a little defensive, but he is this way with anybody who wants money. I mean, especially private entities. We've had others come to us. There are people here who sit through all these meetings who are nodding right now. But Tom is very fiscally conservative, and he analyzes our dollars almost as closely as our county administrator does, who's a CPA. So, you are not unique in being raked across the coals for a financial request, because it happens anytime, especially for big dollar amounts, and certainly for a private entity that's coming in and not, county. I mean, you should see the animal shelter and what they have to go through anytime they come and ask for money, or SALs, or, I can give you a list of victims if you want to form a support group, because it's pretty wild in here.
Everybody, this is Charles Husing. I'm Casey's attorney over here at Bowles Rice. Just thought I might, point out just a couple other things real quick, and maybe for the benefit of maybe folks who don't know that, Casey's already got a significant amount of money into this. That's in addition to, what everybody else is going to put in. And I know Casey probably doesn't mind sharing that. I've got a few $1 million into this already. He's not coming in asking for anybody to help him. Again, I know you folks there on the commission know this, but maybe for others who may be listening, not looking to get help, buying property. We're looking mostly too at when we talk about infrastructure, the extension of an existing road and tying into existing utilities, and just bringing that out into the property, to serve that property. And Casey's just, right now, I know we're just looking to, cobble together what we can to help that make sense in terms of the overall scheme of the project here. But it's not about giving, and I understand the point too. Point's taken that the hotel's going to benefit, everybody's going to benefit out there. But it's just a matter of getting this road out to the hotel, getting the sewer out, and to be sure, as far as talking about the rest of the parcels, there's going to be a plan to branch off the existing road. So not only will extend it going one direction right to the hotel, but there's a plan to branch that road off the existing road and run the utilities off, both segments of that new road as extended to help serve all the parcels. But have the hotel out there. Of course, we're just hoping we can, just extend out to the highway, and that's really, why Casey's here before you, and just looking for help again. Like I said, just extension of what's already out there. And to just make that property more attractive. People out there, it's going to ultimately benefit the county. So at the end of the day, Casey, you got anything you want to add to that?
No, not really. I just, Tom, why would you not ask for money if you landed a $15 million Hampton Inn and you got all these other parcels that are going to benefit the county? Why on earth would you not go ask for money with all this money for economic development out there? It's not like I'm coming asking for I mean, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but it's not like I'm the only person benefiting here. I built that road. I don't understand. I guess I just don't understand that. I understand you've had that property over there for a long time, but why on earth would you not go ask for the money when the money's there for infrastructure? That didn't resonate with me.
Because I have a problem asking for the people's money when I'm going to benefit by it. That's the problem I have. I guess it's something deep inside of me that just, I don't think it's right. And I can estimate what you're going to make out there. And like I said, I hope you become a millionaire and a billionaire if you're not already a millionaire, billionaire. I mean, I want every private businessman to do that, or woman to do that. But if I, on my property, was going to make, let's say I was going to make $100,000 or $200,000 a year off leases, and maybe even $300,000 a year off leases, I couldn't grasp even asking the people for their money that should be used for infrastructure to their homes and stuff like that, when I'm going to make $200,000 or $300,000 a year for a 20-year lease.
Well, I just think your equation lacks the tax return number. I mean, I just don't. You're not factoring in what the return is. I think is the issue with that.
I know what. Hey, listen. I know what my uncle leased all that property out there for, and I know the income that is generated out there. I know what it costs to build. I know the infrastructure. I'm very familiar with all this. So with the lots that you have, I got a pretty good idea on the lease income that you will get every month. The sheets alone.
But I'm not talking about mine. I'm talking about the tax revenue is what I'm talking.
If you are going to make money on it, the county benefits by services that, I don't think my uncle went and asked, and me and him does not get along, believe me. But I don't think we don't get along. But I don't think he asked for any infrastructure money. And my dad paid in the 80s, paid to bring water up 19 himself out of his pocket. And so the public knows that. I didn't want to talk about it, but we're talking about this now. He paid for it himself because nobody else would pay for it. He paid for it himself. He benefited by it. I mean, the county benefited by it by taxes and everything. So, I mean, that's why I guess, I question you so much is I wouldn't want anybody to question me like that. I'm not going to ask them. I don't want anybody to ask me what I'm going to make. I already know what you're going to make, Casey. And you're going to do well off. But I mean, that's between you and your leaseholders. So, I mean, to ask for the people's money for that I really got a problem with it. And I won't ask for money. That's just how I feel about it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's why I'm not a millionaire, is because I'm not going out and getting all this free money from everybody. But I have a problem. I have a problem using people's money. I know what you paid for the property. I wouldn't even want to disclose that because I would be ashamed of myself to be personally. And I love you, Casey, but we're having a conversation about this. There's a lot of people out there that can't even afford water and sewer or cable out here. So, I mean, that's where I'm coming with this. So, I mean, and I don't want you to take the wrong way. You're a businessman. I appreciate any businessman out there fighting this mess because it's a mess sometimes. So,
well, I just, let me say too, no one's ever given me a dime. I've never got a handout from anybody ever. I'm self-made. I started my company with a phone and a desk and my hind end, and that's it. Okay. So no, I'm not out here asking people, I'm not out here begging for money. And that's how I became successful, taking other people's money. I want to get infrastructure money to get this place built up to what it could be, help it realize its potential. And it sounds to me like you want me to spend the money. If that's what we end up having to do, I'm going to do it, I guess, because I want the place to be better. But why, and from my standpoint, why on earth with the kind of tax revenue that this thing's going to bring in, why on earth not jump on board? So anyway, I'm not in a peeing match, Tom, over how much I'm making. It's not about what this, honestly, I'm going to make money. If I had to sell widgets, that's the kind of person I am. I'm going to sell enough widgets to make a good living. Okay. I'm just going to do it because I've got the drive to do it. And that's, there's 40 acre, whatever it is across the highway there. But in 20 years, no one's ever brought anything like this here. 20 years, man. I'm 38, half my lifetime. No one's ever brought anything like this here. And so that's the difference. That it's not like this is an every year thing. I mean, this thing happens once every 20 years, maybe.
Somebody brought the Walmart and the sheets.
Yeah, 20 years ago. Right. It's what I'm saying. It's been a long time since they brought that in 2005 or whenever it was. And here we are almost 20 years later, and we finally got an opportunity to do something else. So if it's about income for me, then maybe you can't make it work. But if you look at the tax revenue of what the county's going to get from this thing, and I'm talking when the whole thing's done, it trumps the infrastructure cost on that budget estimate is nothing in comparison to perpetuity of what the tax revenue is going to be. So I think it's just you got to look at the bigger picture. And you want to fund sewer and all that stuff, that's wonderful. Let's get a tax base built up to where we got so much money coming in, we can do stuff like that.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll leave with that. I've told you what I want and what I like to try to accomplish, and said my piece. So there's where we're at, I reckon.
I have a couple of questions for our attorney. So at this time, I'd like to move that we go into executive session to get legal advice on my questions with regard to our ability to contribute to a private investor.
Okay.
Okay, so executive session starts at 11:30.
Thank you.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's because when we waited and we walked up here in order, and then I was like, that just reminded me of the dramatic switch. All right, we're back from executive session at 11:47, for which we received some legal advice with regard to the matter of Casey Bowling's request for infrastructure funding.
She's still on there?
It is.
No, he left the call.
Did he?
Yeah.
Probably bothered a little bit, maybe.
Well, he probably didn't understand that. I'm going to send him a text message and just let him know that we're back, just in case he wants to participate. Okay, let's give him just a minute. Okay, he's gonna call back in.
Sunday it's gonna rain, but it's gonna be pretty Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
It's a fishing weekend.
Yeah, we'll see, because it's never accurate that far out.
I'm gonna go
I
drown a
wouldn't
worm
rely on
or
it.
two. I'm gonna drown a worm or two.
She said he's there.
Okay, all right. Okay, we've got Casey back on the line. We went into executive session because I wanted to discuss with our attorney some of the implications of setting this kind of precedent and whether there were any prohibitions against or strings attached to taxpayer dollars and some of the funding sources that we would use in a case like this if we were permitted to do it. And we received that advice. My concern, Casey, based on that discussion and the concern that caused me to ask those questions was we do not have a policy or a procedure for, I mean, all three of the commissioners and have wanted to try to incentivize businesses to come here and economic development. So that's not a question. The question is how we do it and how we do it that's fairest to the taxpayer. And we've considered, you know, what kinds of tax breaks we can have. We're trying to get educated on those things now. We've had some presentations and learned about new ways to do it through these community enhancement development. Is that what it is? What does that stand for? CED? It's called CED, but somebody pitched doing that out at Wolf Creek Park. So we're really open to those kind of schemes and recommendations, but we just have to educate ourselves on them. But one thing we haven't been doing is allocating, you know, funds out of our general fund, or in this case, the American Relief Plan, because we've already prioritized spending those dollars on infrastructure, as Commissioner Luis has stated, that will bring infrastructure to places that don't exist. So for example, if that development near your land, if the closest infrastructure was over in Oak Hill and we had to run it over to you, or if it was in Fayetteville and we had to run it over there, that is something that we would consider, because that would then open up a whole area for development. But that's already been run to that area, and you're asking for us to put it on private property, which is unprecedented. And having no policy, I don't think we need to set a precedent. I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with a policy of that sort anyway, given the fact that we have so many areas in the county where we need to do the former, which is run infrastructure to large areas so they can be developed. So I'm going to move that we deny the request for infrastructure funds based on all of the discussion and the things I just said.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. And Casey, if you can come up with some other, you know, incentive, or if your attorney, Charles Hughes, if he has some ideas, you know, definitely come back to us. I just, if there's some kind of tax scheme or something, we've already found out today that we're limited on our ability to forgive taxes and certain things for for-profit entities. But if there's something we're missing, feel free to bring it to our attention like those other developers have. And we can certainly consider what else we might be able to do for you.
Okay, I'll have a talk with Charles there. And I just want to say, I think it doesn't matter what I say, I guess, but I'm going to say it anyway. If this kind of tax revenue is accounted for, we're saying we want to save this money now to have less of it later. And so I understand there's no precedent for it, but just because something hasn't happened before doesn't mean that's the way it should go. That's why there's nothing been over there in 20 years.
We're not
right. So
let me clarify something. Now, I agree with you. I'm not one of those people, we've always done it this way, so let's keep doing it. But what I'm saying is, with regard to our priorities, we have been very singularly focused on a different area of the county to get infrastructure to that area to help it get started developing and to help the citizens along the way. And in fact, one of your businesses would benefit from that, your storage business, because we're looking at the area up Route 60 to 19, trying to get sewage and water there. So then people will expand, and developers like you will look at that property and try to build along 19. Now your business doesn't have as big a demand for that infrastructure, but what I'm saying is it's not because we're not interested in the revenue. It's because our priorities are focused elsewhere within the county that we think will have larger returns over time. So it's not that because we've never done it. We do feel like we need to examine, and we will, whether we will ever do things like that. There are different ways for us to give breaks to businesses, incentivize businesses. But with regard to infrastructure funding, we have already prioritized that area over there along Route 19 across the river for infrastructure dollars. And our request, we just had a big meeting with Mitch Carmichael's office and a bunch of the governor's people. He manned it very heavily. We had the deputy chief of staff, we had all kinds of people there. Yeah, a whole group of people, high-level people at the state to discuss the funding that we want for that one area there. So, and we, our own people at Wolf Creek Park came to us and asked for infrastructure funding to develop that area out there. And we said no, because our higher priority right now is that area at 19 and 60, so we can open it up for development. So it's not as simple as us turning our noses up at this, the 26% that we would get of the hotel motel tax, or the property, I'm sorry, the real property tax that would come off of that. It's more that for what we have, we've committed and prioritized based on feedback from the comprehensive plan that we're still, that's still in progress, but we've had feedback based on our own discussions with NRGRDA and with Region 4. If we could fund everybody, we would, because we definitely want, development here, but that's where we've prioritized.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just want to thank everybody for their time, and I'll be seeing you guys around, I'm sure.
Okay, we'll see you.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Is there any other business before the commission? Okay, then I move that we adjourn.
A second.